Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In the Group Chat with Elsa and I. Hello, guys. We've got well, he's been on here before due to popular demand. We thought we'd bring him back on. We've got Grams in the building.
It's not a good thing.
Nice and great. Well, you're not happy to be here?
No, I am, but like last time. We went back and forth a little bit. Do you know what? It's a good thing though. Like I said, it never happens. It never happens. So it was good. I got some feedback from my people as well.
Yeah. What was the feedback?
Mixed. Mixed
Go on.
reviews. Some stuff they kind of disagreed with some stuff I said, and then some stuff obviously they just disagreed with you as well.
Yeah. But that's the good thing about having.
But obviously I argued my points.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why did you disagree with it? And funnily enough, it was women, obviously, because men are not going to disagree with it. It's always going to be women. So, but other than that, yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed it.
Good.
This one's going to be better.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's two of you.
Yeah.
So you need just like extra power.
No, do you know, it's not about that. Literally, like, it's good to have different opinions because then you may have opened my eyes to something, I may have opened your eyes to something, vice versa, and you know that's what we're here for. But we've been doing a little thing that we've been testing out with our episodes, and we've introduced a segment to each episode. So I hope you enjoy this one.
Okay,
go on, take it away. Take it away.
So this one you've probably seen it all over social media. It's she's a 10, but.
Oh,
so
man.
you have to basically then rank.
Set up for this one.
You ready? Right, so the first one, we started off a little easy. A 10.
Wait, first of all, sorry to interrupt you. What do I do?
Basically, I will say she's a 10, but something. And then you'll say either she's lower than the 10 or she still stays as a 10.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, so she's a 10, but she talks to her plants like they're her kids.
What's the number? You got to give me
maybe 3.
Really? Yeah. That's how low? Damn.
Wow.
Why would you speak to plants?
Because they're living beings. You never know. Some people.
Okay, hold on.
It might be their like way of.
What do they say to her?
Maybe she doesn't need. Maybe she just needs to vent.
She's like, "Hey, I'm gonna water you. You hungry?"
Like your baby doesn't say anything back to you, but then obviously you still say.
It cries. It does a lot of stuff. Yeah,
the plant gives you oxygen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just trying to like fight.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Next one. She's a 10, but she doesn't want to live with your parents. What is she?
I don't want to live with my parents when I'm married either, so...
Okay, so she's still a 10?
Yeah.
Cool. She's a 10, but she doesn't know how to take hints. So, you know when you're really trying to, like... For example, it's your birthday and you're really wanting a pair of trainers and she's just not getting it.
Oh, no, I'll just tell her, buy me trainers. I'm about communication, so she's still a 10.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. She's a 10, but her favourite music and the only thing she ever listens to is One Direction. Like all day, every day.
It's not gonna cut it, I'm afraid.
What is she?
She's not as bad as the plant woman.
She's not as bad. Okay, she's a 10, but she's taller than you.
It's alright. Tall girl's alright. I'll give her 10.
You're still 10?
Yeah.
Calm. She's a 10, but she's bait on Twitter.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
On social media, let's say.
Twitter's very, like, opinions.
It's different, isn't it? It's a different platform. I don't really want anyone that's bait on anything, to be honest.
Coming from the guy with 53k followers on TikTok.
But there's a difference, though. Okay? The reason why there's a difference is because I'm doing it for a good thing.
How do you know she's not doing it for a good thing?
Okay, what's she doing on there?
I just said she's bait, so take
bait,
it how you want.
I don't even like the word. The word's so
if
derogatory.
she's, like, in her... I don't, like, influencing and stuff like that.
Saying what?
Well, like, clothes, modelling.
Outfits.
Modelling, absolutely not. If
Okay.
she owns her clothing line and she sells her clothing line and she's doing really well, no problem.
Okay.
Because I want a girl that's doing well in life anyway and works and, like, you know. So that works for me.
But then why is the model not...
No. She can't be out here.
She's modelling the clothes. She's not, like, nude or anything.
What clothes is it?
Dresses, jeans, tops, clothes. Like, she's got a deal with ASOS.
Yeah, that's alright.
Cool.
Yeah.
She's a 10, but she doesn't believe in 50-50 in the partnership.
So I have to pay for everything.
Well, either you work, she stays at home, or with things that you should do more of and she should do less of.
Yeah, That's fine. She can stay a 10. Do you know why? Because as long as it stays like that, though, because I've seen scenarios where the girl has said, oh yeah, I don't mind 50-50, and then when the push comes to shove, like, she's turned around and said to her husband, actually, no, you have to pay for everything. And I don't like that, because you're kind of preparing, like, you're going into the marriage and living with them knowing, okay, at this I'm going to set up the plan, and then they just flip it on you, and you don't know what your circumstances are like, so that can mess you up.
Would you prefer if it was equal 50-50, or would you actually not mind?
I mean, are we going to get into this, how women benefit from double standards? Look,
no, it's just your preference.
I think
yeah, this is just preference-wise.
I don't mind, because men are going to provide anyway, whether she's going to do it or not. So
not always, because like you said, what if she got with someone who had the mentality of okay, I'm preparing for 50-50, and then it doesn't work out like that, and then he no longer wants that anymore because she hasn't stuck
this particular scenario. He went and did it anyway because he was just like, it is what it is. Like, she said she was going to, and now she's not, but I'm just gonna have to pick up the rest of it, whatever.
But if, for example, in this question, if she didn't believe in 50-50, how would you, like, what
like when you first are approached with each other and you're getting on and everything, and then you found out that you like her, but she's very, like, you have to kind of do the majority. I'll
be honest, I'm not the most religious person, but like, certain things I do live by, and in my religion, I can't, basically her money is her money, and I have to provide, and I can't ask her what she's doing with her money either. So based on that, I'll have to say that I don't mind, like, it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. She's a 10, but she only posts you on her close friend's story.
No, this is just ridiculous behaviour. Because let me tell you why. Because I've got quite a bit of following, yeah. Majority of them are women. Because it's what I post and the videos I make. But I can bet my bottom dollar that if I post at some bar with her and I'm only posting myself, she's going to put her hand in the way, or she's going to put something in the way to make it, to show the people that he's with a girl right now. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're going to do that because you want it to be known, then I'm going to do the same. I expect the same.
But doesn't that go against some of the stuff that you were saying about communication? Wouldn't you just communicate like that you want to be in her picture?
Nah, look, I get the whole communication thing, but I think some things you just got to kind of know. Like, I get it, and I'm a big believer of it, but at the end of the day, if she's doing that, I would expect the same, and I shouldn't have to say it, you should just do it. Like, because...
But maybe she doesn't know. Like, maybe
it's still like family members, I don't know.
I mean, I think she does, I think she would know, because she's going to the effort to post it on her close friends. So clearly there's something happening there that certain people can see and certain can't. Now, if her family don't know me, that I understand. But if her family know about me, and do you see what I mean? Then I don't see why you'd post on close friends and not. I just, do you know what I'd prefer? None. I'd prefer neither. Then close friends and not the other. I'd rather you just don't post it at all, because it's just a bit weird to me. I don't like the idea of close friends anyway. Like, I don't have it.
Really? I just recently got it. Because it's just like like closer friends, not because you follow some people that you haven't like chilled with in a while, and you are still kind of acquaintances. But you don't.
The thing is, though, is that's you though, but other people are very shady with why they have close friends. So for me, it's like, and I think that's the majority of people, and I just feel like, I mean, you've got, I know some girls that have their exes on there,
on their close friends story,
to be like, oh look. Look what I'm doing, kind of thing, to spark some kind of controversy there and things like that. And that's why I don't like it. I just feel like it depends how you use it. Like, if they're using it like you, fair enough, but
how would you know though, like, how they're using it if you expect her to know the things that are in your head without you saying it? Like, you want her, for example, to, I don't know, post you fully, but she doesn't. How are you gonna make her know that if you don't say it?
No, just say, why are you posting me on your close friends and not on your mate?
Okay, fair enough.
And if she says, oh, because what? Like your family know. That's the only people that you should really be frightened of. No one else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's shady. I find that shady.
Yeah.
It just looks like you're hiding them from the general public, but not hiding them from people you're comfortable knowing about that person. That's shady. Guy or girl that does it is weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
And I prefer not to be posted on anything and I'll feel no type of way about it, rather than that and not the other. It's weird. It's weird.
What if you kept posting her and she never posted you at all? Would that bother you or no?
I mean,
sorry to butt in, but I feel like girls do post their relationship a lot more, whereas guys
I
are
think so.
A bit more reserved with it. It depends, obviously, because not everyone, but I feel like girls have this thing where they'll post their relationship a lot and then they have a go at their boyfriend and he's like, but I never post, and it's just like there's...
Yeah. I think guys generally use social media a lot less anyway, but then that's just my perception.
Yeah. Like I said, I get you. Like if I was constantly doing it and she weren't, I'd probably be a bit like, but I wouldn't like kick up a big fuss about it.
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not really a big deal for me.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't post her that much either. I've learned to keep your relationship like private as much as you possibly can. Like you can post to an extent that you're with a person or you're out at dinner with them and all these things, but posting like every single little thing, like he's come back from the airport and you run over to him and hug him as if that wasn't fucking acting, like stuff like that doesn't need to be on social media. That's just pathetic. It's so childish. But like little things like we're at dinner, I post whatever, that's fine. Anything extra is just for the cameras, man. That's long. I just don't like that.
So the next one is, she's a 10 but she wants all access to your passwords.
Nah.
Long day.
Yeah.
Same with I wouldn't expect it either, and I wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's just like, why?
Honestly, you're just asking for trouble.
Like it's just, and then you're gonna take something out of context because
100%.
you put yourself in that mindset where it's like, I need to find something, and you could see the smallest thing that doesn't mean anything, and you'll create it in your head because you've set your mindset to do that. So I just feel like anybody that does that there's two things. Either one, they don't trust you.
Yeah.
But then you've got to ask yourself, what have I done to create that distrust? Or two, you probably haven't done anything to create that distrust, but what they've done is they brought their baggage along from their last relationship, where their ex-partner probably was disloyal or whatever behind their back in that method, and now that's stuck with them, and now they have that constant paranoia that anyone I get with is going to do the same thing. And it's like, respectfully, I get it, but I'm not that person, and you're actually boxing me into a category where you're kind of perceiving me to be that person, because that's what you're asking me to do, to give you reassurance. It's like, no, just ask me if something's bothering you and I'll tell you. If you don't believe me, that's a different conversation. But giving passwords and that, like, I'm not a fan. Like
Invasion of your privacy.
If I'm like next to you and I see something and I'm a bit like, oh, that looked a bit weird, I'll ask. And I expect you to tell me the truth. Like, I'm not going to snatch the phone out of your hand to see. Like, I'm going to ask you, what is that? You're going to say it's this, and we're going to move on. Simple. And I expect the same back.
So what would you rate that?
That is a 1.
Spot on, to be fair. I agree. Okay, last one. She's a 10.
So just on that point, the reason why is because first it will be passwords on your phone. Then it will be, why do you have Snapchat? Why is your Snapchat score gone up? Then it will be, you followed this person on Instagram. You might as well get a Nokia 8310 that you can't do nothing apart from receive messages and make calls, because with people like this, there's no ceiling. They'll start there and they'll keep pushing to see how far they can go, and then they'll just go all the way, and eventually you'll just end up arguing about the same thing but with different social media platforms and stuff like that. It's just like, no.
I agree.
Don't do it at all.
Okay, last one. She's a 10, but she's obsessed with astrology and horoscopes.
No, I'll never get with a girl that is that. Never.
Why?
Because it's nonsense.
Why do people hate that?
Because it's nonsense. Let me tell you something.
I'm not a fan either, to be fair.
You see, there's a page here, Justin LA Boy. And he's like controversial. Like, he only uploads memes, but he's big. He's massive. Yeah. And he's got this thing where every meme he uploads, on the caption he'll put, what star sign is she, right? And you'll see people, thousands of comments, by the way, writing different ones down. And I'm thinking, how can they all be the same thing that he's describing?
Yeah.
It's like they're all writing all of them. So I'm thinking, how can they all fit that description? It's because people just, like, they need something to cling on. Like, I've read some of these, and some people say, oh, but some of it is true, yada, 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 this, that. And I'm just like to myself, like, if that's what you're turning to for some kind of, oh, I'm lonely and I need some kind of message to be given to me, because trust me, I know some people that actually take it proper serious.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're going in the wrong direction if you need clarity or reassurance or healing or all of these things. Like,
some people are not religious though, so that
it's a form of their like meditation, and like everyone has a thing that they follow and they kind of like have but
then imagine one of the star signs said you're gonna, like, I don't know, something tragic, and then you literally believe it and it dictates your week or something.
I know, but that's you can say that about a lot of things.
Like, you don't have to be religious. Like,
no,
I mean, a complete atheist.
No, I'm saying, so some people are religious, so they follow religion. Some people just don't believe in anything, and some people are a bit more spiritual. I don't know if that falls under spirituality.
Yeah,
but they fall like they follow the astrology signs. To be fair, I'm not really a big fan either. Like, I don't look at any. I just know that I'm a Taurus.
I just don't think it's going to give you anything productive. Like, it's not going to help you, I think, with things that are going wrong in your life. Like, I don't think, this might be a sweeping statement, but I don't think generally happy people pay much attention to that. I think that it's mainly done, in my opinion anyway, by people that are suffering from something, or they're broken up with somebody and they can't get over it, yada yada, and it gives them some kind of warmth or comfort or some kind of reassurance. Like, I don't see happy people married with children that read that. Like, I've not seen it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I just don't think it's for people that are, like, I think it's for people that are generally quite miserable.
I swear, I don't know, maybe what I've seen on social media, loads of people actually, it's become really, like, popular. But I feel like religion does that as well, though, no? Like, you could be sad and depressed, and you still like turn to religion
and stuff.
And religion is people's comfort zone. Not comfort zone, but maybe like their kind
way
of
of like following something.
Yeah.
Fair enough, maybe.
Right, that's the segment over.
Yes. So speaking about literally what you said earlier about people recording themselves, like, come from the airport and their partners like running to them and everything.
Yeah.
Did you see the Gemma and Luca video about how they made it official on Instagram?
Who are they? Are they like some...
The Love Island people, you know.
Okay, I don't watch Love Island.
Yeah, basically it's a couple, and he's just made this like extravagant gesture, asking Gemma to be his girlfriend. Initially they didn't want to announce that in the villa, because they didn't want to make it like a public thing. Right. So basically it's been 3 weeks or so now that they've been out of the island, and he's made this ginormous gesture of and recorded the whole thing, bought a like Cartier bracelet.
It actually looked like a Cartier advert.
And I don't know if they bloody got sponsored.
There was cameras like everywhere. They got
every single angle, like basically like how you would if you were to get proposed.
Literally.
So, honestly.
See, but this I don't like this though, and let me tell you why. The reason I don't like it is because they've come out of Love Island famous, and while they're in Love Island, it's like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen when we get out of here, because a lot of people go in as nobodies and come out as like big influencers, and they get these contracts, this is that, and for a lot of them it's quite overwhelming. Like, they don't know how to deal with it, right? So it's like, you haven't done it in there, but you wanted to do it when you've come out and seen how much clout you have, and it just feels like it's an extension of that clout. It's like, let's just capitalize on it. And I feel like the reason I don't like it is because it builds an unrealistic expectation. So majority of people can't do that, right? They just don't have the capability. But the issue is a lot of these younger people, predominantly girls, they'll look at that and say, that's what I want, right? 18, 19-year-old girls that are...
She's actually 19, by the way.
She is.
See, there you go. And now they'll look at that and think that I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. And it's like, but the majority of men won't do that though, not because they don't want to, it's just because, one, they don't have the capability to do it, and two, they just don't believe in doing that in general. Like, I wouldn't do that even if I was a millionaire, because I just don't like the idea of that. And because I deal with stuff like this on a day-to-day basis, I've seen it. Like, people that social media has done this, all these like Instagram and YouTube relationships where when the cameras are off, they're tearing each other's eyes out, but because they make money from the views and from the like giving people a perception of their relationship that I would say 90% of the time isn't the case, it builds an unrealistic expectation. And it puts a lot of men under pressure, right? And then it indoctrinates girls, younger girls. Older girls, they look at that, like some of my girl mates are like 30, they're gonna look at that and like they're just gonna shrug their shoulders. But some of these younger girls, they're gonna think, oh, I expect nothing less. And then there's that 19-20-year-old guy that really likes her. He's thinking, what am I gonna do? She wants that, I can't do that. So now he's put under pressure and he thinks that's the only way I'm gonna do it, that's the only way I'm gonna get her. So it just brainwashes people. That's what it does. And it's been happening for years on YouTube.
But you know, for someone like, this is just plain devil's advocate, right? For someone who was well off, because they are quite well off, and they are capable of doing that, and they like that, then what's wrong with that? If they want to do that, do you know what I mean?
But why are you posting it?
But why not?
But why?
Because people are involved in their life now, because they've just come off the villa. Like, people want to know what's going on.
They want to show people a little bit more of their relationship.
That's their life now.
And that's maybe like a pinnacle point in their life.
But it's not even a genuine clip.
But how do you know it's not genuine?
Because it's been...
I mean, I agree with you, honestly. It just looks like an advert.
It's been scripted. Like,
it's because it
looks like it's been choreographed. Like, it looks like it's been choreographed. I've got a friend, that proposed to his girl. Okay, he's Albanian, she's Brazilian, right? Now he's gone to meet her family in Sao Paulo with her. She's gone out of her family for dinner or whatever it was. Obviously her family knew what he was trying to do, and he basically decorated everything, right? And she just walks in, there's one camera in the corner of the room where he's propped up, she's walked in and bang. Right? And whatever he's done, he's decorated it, whatever he's proposed, yada 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 yada. That just looks like it's been choreographed to make people be like, oh my god, like, look how good that looks, and all this and all that. It's got like 8 cameras, probably like 10 cameras. It's got a flip phone.
Yeah, but he's got the capacity to do that. So for example, even with this podcast, right, I add an animation at the beginning of it. That doesn't mean that this is choreographed. I chop and change certain bits.
But my question is, what's the point?
The point is that, look, for me personally, like, that it is a little bit OTT, just because he had only asked her to be his girlfriend. That type of gesture for me is a bit too much and will make me feel very awkward. But in that circumstance, I don't look at it as anything that deep.
Aside from all of that, I just don't like the
you just think it portrays something.
It portrays something that for me isn't 100% genuine, and it builds an unrealistic expectation for people, and they're people of influence now. That's what makes it worse. They're not random people on the street. They're people of influence. People have invested a month. Is it a month that you watch Love Island?
It's about 2 months, and then they've been out for just under a month.
How long's the show?
Like about 2 months.
Right, so people have invested. There's people that watch every single episode and over again. So they've invested time in that, and they're looking at these people like, oh my god, kind of thing. Now they've come out, and they're people of influence that are just brainwashing people. Like, I just think like you're building an unrealistic expectation that isn't going to be able to be achieved by the majority of people. And I just feel like if you want to share a certain journey, there's certain ways that you can do it, and I just think that's false.
So in your opinion, if there was just like one camera in the corner, it would have been better?
Yeah, it looks more genuine to me.
I think that's the same thing. Their reaction probably... I just feel like the editors made it look a little bit more wedding-y, if that makes sense.
It's just overboard. And I just think
I agree with you. Like, I completely agree with what you're saying. But for some... I forgot what I was going to say. But basically, if they... Like, literally, like you said, if they like that kind of...
thing,
way of doing things...
She's Michael Owen's daughter. I'm pretty sure she was not going to settle for anyone that is not on the level that he's going to provide for.
The thing is, though, when they were in the villa, she made this big deal about why is everyone making it such a big deal that they're becoming exclusive, and then they were like, no, we don't want to do that, and then they've come out and it's like, it literally looks like a proposal.
Yeah, because it's just,
I don't think she meant it in a way as in it's a big deal, like I think she just meant it's not a big deal to say you're exclusive, not the actual gestures that people were doing. But this is just
I think people of influence should use their platforms to portray something more real.
But that is their real, though.
I just remember what I was going to say. Obviously, like, it's causing this unrealistic expectation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing.
But the thing is, I agree with you, and I completely get that. But is that their responsibility to now, like, not do that because other people can't actually do that? They don't have the capability for it.
Fair enough, but then nothing's ever going to change.
Yeah, I know, but you can't, like, really put it on someone's shoulders.
It's like, I'll give you another scenario, right? You've got a lot of influencers, like, I hate the term, but like, you've got a lot of influencers, and I spoke about this on another podcast, but we'll cover it very quickly, that revamp their whole body. I'm talking, she doesn't even look how she used to look, right? She's got the money, the capability to reverse everything that she's done if she doesn't like it or when it goes out of fashion, because everyone and their dog knows that I believe 99% of all that is just fashion and a trend, right? Now she's gone and done that, and she's got the capability to reverse that once it goes out of fashion or she doesn't like it anymore. The problem is that there's people that look up to them. This is the thing. There's people that look up to them that are going to look at that and think that is right. And that's my only issue with it. We can talk about Cardi B. There's plenty of people that you can talk about and use the same comparison. So when you say is it their responsibility, I just feel like that's not as bad as some others that I've mentioned, or some situations or some people. But when you're a person of influence and people look up to you, I feel like you should be careful what you put out there, because people actually look at that and say that's how it should be.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying.
So that's just my angle with it. Like, look, at the end of the day, do whatever you like. Like, post, I don't care how much decorations and whatever, right? But it's just people are going to look at that, and it's going to create that unrealistic expectation. And then we're never going to break the cycle like that. People are just going to keep doing it. I feel like there is, to some extent, some responsibility, I think.
100%, because they've got all these followers, and they do have this bloody title called influencers. My thing was just like, they have the opportunity to do that, and like you said, is it really their responsibility to now be wary? I think partly yes, it is their responsibility, because like it or not, they are influencing younger people. And like you said, it is giving that unrealistic, like, because the majority are not going to be able to do that.
Not everyone's Michael Owen's daughter.
Exactly. 100%.
But
of course, but I just think now that's their way of maybe showing their love to each other. I don't know, like, but I don't really look at it as anything deep. That when you're talking about the body stuff and the irreversible impacts, 100%.
Look, that's maybe a bit of an extreme example.
It's not like extreme, because it's happening quite a lot. So.
Yeah, but I mean, in comparison to that, right?
For sure.
But it's true though.
Yeah.
And then there's girls out there that don't have the money and the capability to reverse that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and then you're going under the knife again and risking your life to look like what you perceive to be attractive, when you could argue that X amount of time ago no one was doing that.
You just need to go to the other side of the world, and the fashion there is completely different, so they're going to look at you
the
like
perception of beauty changes
everywhere,
like even in clothes, even in everything. And I just feel like, you know, you should be happy to look, and I always say this, I don't believe in my heart of hearts that a 16-year-old girl wakes up in the morning one day and says, I don't like my nose, I don't like my lips. Like, she's been told that by somebody, whether that's social media, whether that's a certain individual, her boyfriend, her ex, whatever. She's been told. So she's been brainwashed to believe that that's not, it shouldn't look like that, and it should look like something else, i.e. whatever it is at the time, right? And I just feel like if these people of influence don't use their like, for instance, if you've got a girl who's really popular and she's done all the BBLs and all of that, and she's turned around and she's using her influence to say, girls, you know what, I've done it all, I don't recommend it, I've spent so much money, I still wasn't happy after, then I spent so much money taking everything off, yada yada yada, that person, I'll respect her, because I feel like now you're using your platform for something positive, right? But when you're out there promoting it like it's completely fine, and it's not, like, for me it's not a matter of opinion, that is just not good to do, right? that's when it causes problems. So they do have, to a strong degree, responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even on like TikTok now, I've seen so many proposals, and then everyone in the comment section has to give them their like, I either approve or don't approve of the proposal. So I feel like social media has put so much pressure, especially on men, to have like these ginormous proposals, these grand gestures, and if you don't do a grand gesture and you post it, then you're going to be absolutely like
annihilated.
Honestly,
exactly.
But it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like, grand gestures are not for everyone. But it's making it seem like it is the norm now because
and people of influence create that norm. That's what I'm trying to say. People of influence create that norm, and then people that aren't people of influence, right? Right? Like, all of us in here, now we think that we have to do that. Because it's the norm, the societal norm. Puts women under pressure, puts men under a heap of pressure. Because we're the ones that got to do it. In fact, if the woman done it for a man, I would argue that he would probably be belittled for that on social media and be like, how is the woman doing it and he didn't? You know? So it's like, now we've got to go far and beyond to replicate that to some extent. Otherwise, either we're going to get absolutely killed for it on social media, or my girlfriend or wife to be or fiance, whoever it is, she's been brainwashed by them. Now she's waiting for that, and I have to find a way to do it, and God knows what I do for a living, God knows what responsibilities I have, and I can't achieve it. Now it's going to make me feel like she's not going to be happy, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, and it's just a pressure that is so unwarranted and it's just not needed, like at all.
I mean, speaking of social media as well, I feel like obviously Carnival, that's just gone by. I feel like people that go there have a great time. Whatever you see on like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, it's just, I don't know if you've seen some videos of how packed it's been, of how many fights have been, and then it just creates this like, oh, Carnival's actually crap, blah blah blah, like this is why I don't go. But then people who have actually gone there have actually enjoyed their time.
Everyone I know that I've gone has had the sickest time.
And it's just kind of like portrayed in that negative light.
I think with Carnival the issue is that because it's not even predominantly, it's a black event, right? I know a lot of people that aren't black partake, but I mean in terms of like its inception, how it started, right? I think it's just a media game. Because if you go to these like white festivals where they're doing like Molly and MDMA and all kinds in the crowd, first of all, you don't even have the same amount of security that you have there than you have at Carnival. Right? That's because they've already portrayed it that it's going to be more violent there. I don't go just because it's not my scene. Right? A lot of my friends that go, they have a cracking time. Yes, there's fights. Okay, so what? There's fights in clubs, there's fights everywhere, there's fights on the street, right? So I just feel like it's a racial media game
100%.
where it's portray what is predominantly a black event, if you want to call it event, festival, whatever. Anyway, Carnival, yeah. Portray that in a negative light because there's racial tension. Like we don't want that to be perceived in a positive way, but we don't mind the white events that they go and do whatever
like
they want.
Like those heavy metal rock concerts where everyone's like smashing their guitars at each other's heads, like that's not even
like, I don't see on social media them posting police dancing and having fun.
Like,
I don't see that. I just see
all day that I've been scrolling on social media, it's literally just been negative stuff, and I'm like, this is so crazy because I've seen videos of my friends, like of them having fun.
I think it's a racial thing, but also on the flip side, controversy sells.
It's true.
Controversy gets more views, get clickbait, blah blah blah. No one in the world, I'm sorry, but no one in the world can sit here and tell me that a video in Carnival of people dancing and having fun is getting more views and more clout and more exposure than some crazy thing,
than some fight,
or I've seen some even worse things that I didn't even want to mention. That's not going to get more views than that. It's just not going to happen. But that's just because controversy sells.
That's true.
It just does better in terms of social media. Forget how you're portrayed for it. It just gets you more out there. And there's people that will post controversial things, say controversial things, just because they know it'll get them out there, but it's not really a true reflection of their character. And that's why people get cancelled very easily, because when they're asked to justify what they've said, they sit there and freeze because it didn't come from the heart. It was just like, I just said it because I knew it'd be clickbait, and then you're finished like that.
I wanted to ask you something about, like, I was kind of deep in it when I got home after our previous episode. You were saying something about how women, they prefer this type of character, and we were saying about the attributes that a woman would like, but then who they actually end up with it doesn't correlate. So I wanted to know, what in your mind, why do you think people will suffer in the moment they're in their current situation, rather than risk leaving that and then find something better? Why do you think they would? Why do you think they suffer in the current situation that they're at?
I think every situation is different, but I feel like a lot, and I'd say probably the vast majority of guys too, but predominantly women that stay in situations like that, is because that's their normality. Like, there are women out there that can't function without chaos. Like, they can't, because they've seen it growing up. They've seen their father like that, they've seen their mother like that, and it's just normal for them. And anything outside of that normal, I don't want it. Chaos is not good in a relationship. We know that toxicity isn't good in a relationship, but it's their normality. It's what they see, and it's normal for them. So they carry on in that because it's home. It's what I'm used to. And when that great guy comes along and is great to them, it's almost like, I don't know how do I receive this? I've seen this and I've seen this. And that's why you'll see a lot of the times a lot of women go from one bad guy to one bad guy to one bad guy, and us on the outside looking in are thinking, what are you doing? But it's a much deeper rooted issue that it just hasn't been addressed. And it's a real thing, and in our culture we just don't believe it, and I know that, but it's a real thing, and we need to get with the program as Albanian, Kosovan, whatever you want to call it. We definitely need to get with the program, because it's a real thing.
Yeah, I see it all the time.
Like, you'll see, I used to know a girl, right? She's like in her 30s now, fantastic family, like great household, loving parents, ridiculous amount of money, doing brilliantly, lives in a great area, like a fantastic area, great house, everything. But she, I wouldn't say attracts bad guys, she is drawn to bad guys. There's a significant difference between the two, and the reason why is because she's had so much of this. Because you can look at it both ways. Her normality now, like I was saying, is this great stuff. So if your normality is this great stuff, why would you go into quote unquote the polar opposite? But it's like, when you don't look at the deep rooted issue, and you don't look at why she could be like that, what is it that's making her tilt towards that kind of person when she's been used to this her whole life? If you don't deal with that issue, and you don't go and understand that issue and accept it and work on it, it will never change. Like, it will never ever change.
On the flip side then, in regards to the chaos that you were saying, why do you think a guy gets attracted to chaos?
Obviously he's got issues as well. So there's this concept called trauma bonding, and there's a really good music video which I think everyone here should watch. It's Joyner Lucas with Ashanti. Ashanti doesn't sing or anything on it, she's just in the music video. And it's basically two toxic people that love each other and hate each other at the same time. And they split up, and there's a lot of like domestic violence involved in that, and a lot of like shouting in public and not caring about how we look in public, because they're zoned out from the world. You know, they don't care that they're in a shop and they're about to have a fight in front of everyone. And what it's doing, because Joyner Lucas is so good with that, is highlighting that trauma bond, that two people not only can't stand each other, but they need each other to feel good as well at the same time. And it's like they separate, and then it's like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, I'm so upset, oh my god, this that. And it's like, I need my safety zone, my comfort. You go back to that exact same person, and they're thinking the exact same thing while you're thinking that same thing, and they just in and out like that, literally. And that's what the video basically shows, and the lyrics, like when you deep it, it's like a 3-minute movie. It's amazing, but it highlights it perfectly. And guys are no different in that respect, you know, to women. Like, there's loads of issues. It could be like, there could be abandonment issues, there could be like I've got friends that know people that the guy doesn't know how to leave a girl.
Yeah.
Because he's got an abandonment issue. He doesn't know how to tell her, listen, like, I can't be with you. And he's so susceptible to like guilt tripping, and so susceptible to like narcissistic behaviors that she might, inflict him with, because he doesn't know how to detach.
Do you think society puts pressure on men in that sense to speak out a little bit more about these kind of stuff? Because even with that, right, like, obviously we all know suicide rates are a lot higher in men than women. And I don't know if that has anything to do with maybe the pressure that men might feel to speak out. Is that due to society? Is that due to, like, the stigma that's attached, or being weak if you speak out as a man?
I would say the majority of the reason why is because of that. And it's weird, because I'm not saying everybody does this, but you've seen on social media when there's a guy that's posted this like goodbye post, and it's like that's the only time he's ever opened up to anyone, and it's at the end, at the end of his life. And it's like, I feel like there's a serious societal pressure of men opening up, and I feel like we've built a society that if men do it, they're seen as weak, and not just by society, but they're seen as weak by, I would argue, just like I did last time, that of the majority of women as well. And I feel like women can sit and try to be politically correct as much as they want, and say they care about a man's mental health and they care that he opens up. But the truth of the matter is that the only time, I believe, and this isn't all women, but I'd say the vast majority, the only time that she'd ever care about a man's emotions and the way that he feels is when she's already deep in that relationship. And I feel like the only time that she's ever going to take him serious, if he's like that, is if he's neglected his feelings 90% of the time before they've even gotten into that relationship.
What makes you think that?
Because I believe only when she's drawn to that relationship and drawn to that person, and she's in love with them, is she going to sit there and listen to it. And I feel like a lot of the time he's got to neglect that for all that talking period and all that talking stage and all of that. He has to neglect that to not be perceived or seen in a certain way by her. And when he then gets with her and she's in love with him, now he feels more susceptible to open up, because she'll listen to me because she loves me. And a lot of men negate their feelings.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because obviously women are seen to be more emotional, more empathetic, and more feeling.
But women don't see that as a masculine trait. And I think a lot of women in today's society, I believe, don't know what true masculinity is. In my opinion, true masculinity is a guy that can do that.
Yeah.
And isn't judged for it. And there's a guy that protects and provides, but he can be upset and he can tell you, listen, etc., X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact of the matter is that I think a lot of women's perception of masculinity is skewed. I think they don't know, a lot of them, what true masculinity really is, and I feel like they get their definition, if you like, of true masculinity from singers or influencers or whoever the case may be, society even, right? And they build their definition based on what they've been told. But true masculinity isn't a guy that's macho. And look at Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more macho than that. Look at the size of him. Look how successful he is. Look how much money he is. And he boxes. He doesn't do ballet. He boxes. So that's seen and more portrayed as a manly thing, right? Because he boxes. And he's gone out publicly in front of millions of people, and he's told his story. You see what I'm saying? Now he's a celebrity, so that's when it gets a little bit like he can get away with that a little bit more, and people look at that like, wow, look what he's done. But someone like me, if I did that, I wouldn't get that same reception. Like, I wouldn't get that same praise.
Have you asked other women that because I know majority of your platform is women, have you sort of had this conversation with other women and heard their opinions? Because like you said in the last episode, generally I don't really know many that say that. I've seen some of it on social media, but I've not been that aware of it. So do you have any sort of examples that you've had people comment on?
Well, this is the funny thing, right? You don't get the example from women, you get it from men, because men are the ones that are susceptible to that from the woman. So it's the man that will tell you he went through that.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Look at this in another stance, right?
Okay.
Do you think then that's the woman's fault, or is the man? Is he he's been, is the word inadequate enough? Like he's not
expressing what he's feeling. So
like how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, how am I supposed to be there for you if you're not letting me be there for you?
But that's what I'm saying though, because
if you've started a relationship, right, like you're the talking stage, realistically speaking, I haven't really heard much examples of a woman being that unavailable to emotion.
Yeah, and I feel like obviously whilst you're getting to get to the love stage, you've got to have, you know, known each other for some time.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm telling you something right now, yeah, and you can take this away and say, fair enough, that's your opinion, but I don't agree with it. I'm telling you something now, and you can take it however you want. From I've just met you to I'm just about to be with you, men will neglect their emotions 95% of the time. Now you can take that and not believe it, and it's entirely your choice, but it is the truth, and you can ask any man. And the reason why they do that is because we built a society and we brainwashed women to believe that that is not masculine. Simple. It's predominantly a feminine trait, and it should only be practiced by women. Yeah? But the fact of the matter is, men will neglect their emotions and their feelings for that period of whatever you two have going on, because they're fearful, based on the society we built, based on what women that have been brainwashed, that if I do this, she won't want me.
Yeah, but you see it don't you see it every day though? A guy just says, oh yeah, I cut her off because of this, I cut her off because of that. That's not them neglecting their emotions. So I kind of disagree in that sense. I think men are the first ones to be like, nah, bun this, like, and cut the girl off if there's for the slightest inconvenience. Maybe, in my opinion, with stuff like that, I feel like it's the man being incapable of expressing him, not because the woman is making him feel inadequate, because he feels that himself, that he's inadequate.
Right, but
that's not society, in my opinion, telling him that you have to suppress your feelings because she's going to think you're a waste man.
What he's saying is that society, we live in a world where men showing their feelings makes them weak, so they have already built in their subconscious brain that if I now show my feelings to you whilst we're in the talking stage, you won't want me, not just because you are not letting me in, but you're built to believe that women won't want me if I show my feelings, because you've just been like brainwashed to think like that. That's what I feel like
that's what it is, and they will neglect that for that portion.
So men then won't think about their own feelings.
I don't know.
And when you get in a relationship, that's when the tide turns a little bit, because you're in love with him. Now he feels like she's in love with me.
But if that's the case, why is there so many talking stages for people then? Like, why is everyone cutting and chopping and changing and remixing everything?
That's why everyone's been so protective.
But that goes against what we're saying then, no? I feel like women are the ones that suppress their feelings in the beginning the most, and then they lay it out. Because they're the ones that go, I don't want to, I want him to like me, I want him to this, I want him to that. Guys are screaming from the top of their lungs, I dropped her, sacked her off because of this, because of that.
If that's the case, why is it predominantly, I would say the vast majority of cases, maybe even all cases, why is it always women that want to know where you're at in the relation, in this?
No. Are you?
No. Hold on. So you're telling me that more men want to know where this is going than women?